son, just a few lines to say I'm still alive. I'm writing this letter slowly because I know you don't read too fast. You won't know the house when you come home because we've moved. Your father has a new job with 500 men under him. He's cutting grass at cemetery. Your brother's doing well in the army. He's only been a soldier for 2 weeks and already they've made him a court-martial. There's a washing machine in the new house, but it doesn't work very well. Last week I put 14 shirts in it, pulled the chain, and I haven't seen them since. Your sister Mary has had a baby, but I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, so I can't tell you if you're an aunt or an uncle. Your uncle did drowned in a vat of whiskey at the brewery. Some of his workmates dived in to save him, but he fought them off bravely. We cremated his body, and it took 4 days to put out the fire. It only rained twice last week, once for 3 days, and once for 4 days. Monday it was so windy that the hen laid the same egg 5 times. Your cousin Patrick made his own cider. Yesterday he went out to crush 56 woodpeckers, and it didn't look the same at all. Good Mum. P.S. I was going to send you £10, but I've already sealed the envelope. This next one I wrote myself. A few years ago I used to teach. And I used to go home. You know, everybody thought you finished at 4 o'clock. I used to go, with piles of books to mark. And somebody once said to me, well, why don't you mark them at school when you've got the kids? My neighbours. And I sat marking these maths books. And after I'd marked them, I thought, what the dickens have I been doing? To cheer myself up, I sat down and wrote a little poem, and this is it. I called it An Ode on a Maths Lesson. I've tried to teach them maths today, numbers to add or take away, to try to write it clear and neat, not look as though 'twas done by feet. We start quite simply, 2 add 1, and by the time we've got that done, we're all mixed up. Have we no sense? We've forgotten again to mark it pence. 100 pence equals £1. That is a rule which is quite sound, but often though we have tried, the pound sign's forgotten by the side. Once we've got addition right, subtraction comes in with a fight. Will we remember to take away or add it up like yesterday? Our maths rule says to make it more, it's sometimes multiplied by 4. The answers, though, are often fables. They haven't even learned their tables. Division is the one comes next. We'll read the book and then the text. It will be a marvellous sight if we get the answers right. Wait until we come to fractions. Stand back, wait, and watch the actions. Fingers which worked so well before don't work so well when cut in 4. With luck and progress, they learn the rule by the time they leave the primary school. As they set out on life's hard way, let's hope some maths will with them stay. I don't know if you ever put notices up here telling people about it looks as though you do. I'll have to look afterwards and see if they're all spelled right. Because these are serious notices that have been spotted on church notice boards. Don't let worry kill you, let the church help. Thursday night, potluck supper. Prayer medication to follow. Remember in prayer the many who are sick of our church and community. For those who have children and don't know it, we have a nursery downstairs. The rosebud on the altar this morning is to announce the sin of Reverend and Mrs. Julius Meltzer. This afternoon there will be a meeting in the south and north ends of the church. Children will be baptised at both ends. Tuesday at 4 p.m. there will be an ice cream social. All ladies giving milk will please come. Wednesday, the Ladies Liturgy Society will meet. Mrs. Jones will sing "Put Me in My Little Bed," accompanied by the pastor. Thursday at 5 p.m. there will be a meeting at the Little Mothers Club. All wishing to become little mothers, please see the minister. This being Easter Sunday, we ask Mrs. Lewis to come forward and lay an egg on the altar. The ladies of the church have cast-off clothing of every kind, and they may be seen in the church basement. A bean at supper will be held on Tuesday evening in the church hall. Music will follow. Weight Watchers will meet at 7 p.m. at the church. Please use the large double doors at the side entrance. Pastor is away. Massages can be given to the church secretary. The minister unveiled the church's new tithing campaign slogan. I've upped my pledge, up yours. Going back now to proper monologues. And this one is a good one. I can remember listening to this one as a kid. It used to fascinate me. Brown boats. Oh. And I always remember going to meet my dad. He'd come down to see us. And we went to New Street Station to meet them. First time that they came down after I got married. And my dad sat there, and as he sat down at the Elder Bridge, I noticed he'd got brown boots on. And I kept saying, "Hey, Dad, brown boots." Our Aunt Anna passed away with a funeral today, and it was a posh affair. Had to have 2 policemen there. The hearse was lovely, all plate glass, and what a coffin, oak and brass. Whitbars was weeping, flowers galore, but June, our cousin, what do you think he wore? Well, brown boots. I ask you, brown boots. Fancy coming to a funeral in brown boots. I will admit he had a nice black tie, black fingernails, and a nice black eye. But you can't see people off when they die in brown boots. And Aunt had been so very good to him, done all that any mother could for him. And Jim, her son, to show his class, rode up to make it all a farce in brown boots. I ask you, brown boots, while all the rest wore decent black and morning suits. I know he didn't seem so gay. In fact, he cried best part of the way, but same. Just spoilt our day with his brown boots. In the graveyard we left Jim, none of us said much to him. Yeah, we all gave him the bird. And then, by accident, we heard he'd given his black boots to Jim Snow, the bloke who had no boots at all. So perhaps Aunt Anna wouldn't mind. She did like people and was good and kind, but brown boots, I ask you. Fancy coming to a funeral in brown boots? And we could hear all the neighbours remark, what him, Chief Murner? What a blooming lark. Why, looks more like a bookish clerk in his brown boots. That's why we've been so rude to him. That's why we never said how do to him. We didn't know. He didn't say he'd give his other boots away, but brown boots. I ask you, brown boots. While all the rest wore decent black and morning suits. But someday, up at Heaven's Gate, poor Jim, all nerves, will stand and wait until an angel whispers, "Come in, mate. Where's your brown boots?" We're now going back to Ireland. Shane lived alone in Northern Ireland. He wanted to spade his potato garden, but it was very hard work. And his only son, Mick, who used to help him, was in an English prison. The old man wrote a letter to his son and described his predicament. "Dear Mick, I'm feeling a mite down because it looks like I won't be able to plant potatoes in my garden this year. I'm just getting too old to be digging up a garden plot. If you were here, all my troubles would be over. I know you would dig the plot for me. Love, Dad." A few days later, he received a letter from his son. "Dear Father, for goodness sake, don't dig up the garden. That's where I've buried all them ruddy bodies." Love, Nick. At 4 a.m. the next morning, a dozen agents from Scotland Yard and local police officers showed up and dug up the entire garden down to the depth of about 6 feet. That evening, not finding any bodies, they apologised to the old man and left. The next day, the old man received another letter from his son. "Dear Father, go ahead and plant your spuds now. It's the best I could do under the circumstances."